So now we are going to go on to Chagall.
Yeah.
Now, what can you tell
There's a
me
nice picture of
about
Chagall.
Marc Chagall? Well, he was a dashing young man at some point.
Well, he was like 60 in that picture.
Well,
Anyway, Chagall was, born in Russia, and really started his professional career in Paris, France. So he lived in Russia, he lived in France, and he wound up in the United States in probably about 1940 or whatever. But he worked in oil, he worked in ceramics, he worked in glass framed church type windows, but his favorite one was the lithograph.
The lithograph.
He seemed, you know why he liked the lithograph? Because the process of lithography, he felt, was that his own hand was closer to you as the viewer of the painting than you could get with any other process. The lithography, unlike Thomas Kincaid and the photograph, basically you're looking at a fancy photograph. But with a lithograph, Chagall would etch into a stone, literally. The stone then would be made with some sort of a wax type of a process on it, then made into what's called the master lithograph, okay? Then it would be like put onto an ink pad and stamped. And that is more or less the lithographic process. And he felt that now I am touching, if I were touching it, I would be touching his hand or his feelings or whatever feelings he had about anything and why he did this painting. And he felt...
So in this particular lithograph, since this is what you do for business, how many times would you think this would be sent through the press, or how many different colors would you say this one has?
I got to be very honest.
Well,
I can't really give you a guess.
Okay.
I can't.
Here's my answer for this one.
There's 3 colors.
Oh, I was just 2. Where's the third color?
But you're right. It's 2 colors. That's a 2-color process.
So this is one I could tell. So was he?
And there's a 1-color process. Right there.
And so,
but he loved this process.
Since it's sent through the press several times, am I right in thinking that each one of these lithographs are slightly different from one another?
Yes, they are.
Because there's a lot of,
they're not exactly the same.
Possibility for variables.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same.
Now, this one of the Eiffel Tower, it sells for $2,000. And about when was this one made?
It's made in 1960.
1960.
This whole collection of 12 lithographs here were especially made in 1960 by Marc. They were printed, not printed, but let's say lithographed in Paris, France, by a famous, by the way, that's a self-portrait of Marc.
This is a self-portrait.
Right, that's
now,
a self-portrait.
were there many self-portraits of Marc?
Well,
I mean,
he's almost in every one of these paintings. He's got his face.
I mean, so is this Marc here?
Yeah, this is Marc here. This is Marc over here.
Now, since
this is Marc over there.
Since you're familiar with this, is this something typical that artists do? I know that Rembrandt did it. He's in his paintings, and
I can't really explain that question, but no, I don't know the answer to it.
Okay.
But I know that he did this, and Marc was known as the quintessential modernist, and he was actually given that name by his friend Picasso.
So Picasso said that Chagall is the quintessential modernist.
Modernist of the 20th century.
Well, that's quite a compliment. I mean, when Picasso says that you represent an entire style of artwork, that's quite a compliment.
That's true. And it's hard to get, you have to this grows on you. I think Chagall grows on you, because when I first saw his work, at the Weinstein Galleries, they had a $3 million piece of Chagall. It was an original oil, and very large oil of Chagall, about 10 years ago. $3 million, and I thought it looked like an 8-year-old kid with a crayon, which at first sight, it kind of reminds you of that, But,
well, actually, from my point of view, I like stuff like this.
That's great.
Far more than photorealistic stuff.
Yeah.
Because photorealistic, we don't need that. We need ideas.
That's what this is.
We don't need a perfect representation of something. We've got cameras that do a great job for that.
But also, kind of a funny thing is that when a reporter asked him in his older years, so Lamont, what are all the hidden meanings in your painting? You know, we've been looking for that for years. And Mark said, "What are you talking about? I was just having fun." That was it. And I don't think that was the truth. What do you think the truth was? You know, the truth was that he was expressing in a lot of these paintings Jewish guilt in some ways. Also, home, the home, I don't know. Just general. There was a whole expression like that. Yeah, okay. And then, but a lot of them were done about the Bible. A lot of them were done in just his home life.
Is there one here that you would say represents something like that, something specific? This one represents the Eiffel Tower.
That's right.
And this is my favorite one
simple,
here.
you know what I mean? But, you know, it's just like we're overthinking it.
Well, I don't know,
we're kind of
because
overthinking it.
the Eiffel Tower has been done so many times,
Yeah.
and this is a fresh take on that.
Yes, it is.
And I don't think it's so easy to come up with a fresh take on something that's been done a billion times.
Well, maybe not, but this is fresh. You're right about that. That obviously is his home. That must be his mother, right? And that must be his brother or something like that, you know?
Yes, I think the reporter was right. He just wasn't in the mood. Maybe he just doesn't remember. But obviously, when he comes up with these ideas, something was going through his mind at
He
the
likes
time.
his nose. He really does. I
He
mean,
likes
you can
his
see
nose.
His nose is in a lot of these things, you know?
I can see.
And he obviously likes nudes, you know?
Well, that's just a male trait.
Right. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.